The war had ended with a suddenness that left both sides stunned. Across the shattered moonscape, human forces stood victorious against the coalition of alien worlds that had threatened their colonies for decades. Among the commanders, Captain Elias Ward felt the weight of responsibility, but also the thrill of triumph. Today, the spoils of victory would be divided, and he had no expectations beyond the standard rations, technology, and some minor artifacts. The division was held in the hollow of a massive derelict spacecraft. Orbiting the cratered surface of Kepler-4 7c, alien emissaries and human officers gathered, their eyes reflecting a spectrum of cultures and technologies. Ward observed the proceedings with a calm demeanor, his gaze steady as items of immense value were called out and claimed by their respective victors. Advanced weapons, rare minerals, and even living specimens were carefully distributed. When his turn came, Ward approached the platform. The alien officer in charge, a tall figure with iridescent skin and multifaceted eyes, gestured toward a containment pod. Ward's heart skipped a beat, though he fought to mask it. Inside, a figure crouched, silent but radiant. "She is yours," the officer said, the words flat but unmistakable. Among the spoils, the council deemed her choice appropriate. Ward blinked, uncertain. He had seen alien life forms before, but none like this. She was taller than most humans, her frame slender yet strong, with skin that shimmered like moonlight on water. Her eyes, large and luminous, regarded him with an intensity that made him catch his breath. He stepped closer, lowering his voice so only she could hear. "Are you okay?" She straightened slowly, and her gaze softened, though curiosity and caution remained. "I am," she replied in halting common, the language humans used across colonies. "You are." "My owner?" Ward's brow furrowed. "Not owner. Protector, if you like. I did not choose this for either of us, but the council made their decision." Her lips curved into the faintest hint of a smile. "Protector," she repeated. The word seemed foreign on her tongue, yet it carried a note of approval as they left the platform. The ship's corridors felt unnaturally quiet. Ward guided her with patience, aware that every movement, every gesture, could be misread. Her posture was graceful, almost ethereal, yet her presence radiated power. He had expected fear or resentment, but instead there was a subtle acknowledgement of shared circumstance, an unspoken agreement that they must navigate this new reality together. In the first days aboard the transport vessel, Ward observed her closely. She adapted with remarkable speed, understanding basic human protocols and technology as if instinct guided her. He learned her name, Leora. Her speech, though initially fragmented, became more fluid as days passed. "What is your world like?" Ward asked one evening as they sat in the observation deck, watching Kepler-4 7c's rings cast shadows across the planet's surface. Leora's eyes reflected the pale light of the rings. Water and wind, mountains taller than clouds, cities that touch the stars but remain hidden beneath them. "We value harmony and strength. My people feared humans. They thought your kind would destroy everything." Ward nodded. "Some of us do, but not all." He hesitated, then added, "I think you'll find humans capable of more than fear. We can adapt, learn, protect, sometimes in ways others do not expect." Her gaze lingered on him, sharp and assessing. "You speak as if you know much about strength." "I've learned enough to survive," he said, allowing a small, wry smile. "And to keep people alive, if that counts." She considered him for a long moment. "Survival alone is not strength, but I see something in you that is unusual." Weeks turned into months. Ward trained Leora cautiously, sharing techniques of strategy, self-defense, and technology, while she taught him her people's ways of perception and awareness. They developed a rhythm, a mutual respect that transcended words. When others sneered or doubted, Ward stood firm, and Leora's presence beside him was both unsettling and empowering to those around them. One day, a message arrived from the Human Council. A new conflict was brewing on the frontier. A coalition of alien races seeking revenge for the defeat at Kepler 47c. Ward prepared his team, and Leora insisted on accompanying him, despite initial objections from the military hierarchy. "I can fight," she said simply. "I have lived in worlds where strength decides fate." Ward regarded her carefully. "I do not doubt that. But you must understand, our battles are different. Rules are different. Strategy matters more than raw power sometimes." "I will learn," she replied. There was no arrogance, only determination. When the first encounter occurred, the Coalition's forces underestimated the human captain and the alien girl. Leora moved with a fluidity that confounded sensors, her reflexes faster than anyone anticipated. Ward coordinated attacks with precision, his understanding of human tactics enhanced by Leora's intuitive perception. Together, they became a force that seemed almost unstoppable. At the end of the engagement, the Coalition's flagship was disabled, its leaders surrendering. Ward's unit emerged nearly unscathed, their cohesion stronger than any prior campaign. Leora looked at him afterward, her eyes reflecting a mixture of exhilaration and curiosity. "You are extraordinary," she said, almost as a statement to herself. Ward shook his head. "No, you are. You saved more lives than I could have?" She tilted her head, intrigued by his humility. "Perhaps humans have more potential than I believed. You do not only rely on strength. You rely on understanding. Understanding and timing," he replied, the corner of his mouth twitching. "And a bit of luck." Their reputation grew. Across the colonies, stories spread of the human who commanded respect, aided by an alien whose abilities seemed almost mythical. Ward found himself navigating diplomacy, training recruits, and advising councils, all while ensuring Leora's safety and continued integration. The pair developed a synergy that was hard to ignore. Human adaptability fused with alien perception. One evening, on a quiet station orbiting a neutral world, Ward and Leora observed the stars. The station's hum provided a steady rhythm, and the vastness of space made their previous victories seem small yet significant. "You were given to me by chance," Ward said, his tone reflective. "At first, I did not know how to respond." Leora's eyes softened, shimmering with something akin to understanding. "And yet we found purpose together. You treat me as equal, not as a possession or prize. That is rare." Ward smiled faintly. "Equality is earned, not granted by circumstance. I will not take what was never meant to be mine, but I will protect what is in my care, and I trust you to do the same for me." She extended her hand, delicate yet firm. Ward took it, feeling an unspoken bond solidify between them. The station's lights reflected on her skin, casting an almost liquid glow that made the moment feel suspended in time. Over the following months, their missions became more daring. Colonies under threat called for their intervention, and together they faced dangers that tested both human ingenuity and alien capability. Ward's tactical mind, combined with Leora's perception and speed, made them nearly invincible in the field. Yet it was not only in combat that their partnership flourished. Ward found himself learning about her culture, the philosophies of her people, their art and music. Leora, in turn, marveled at human resilience, humor, and adaptability. They debated, laughed, and sometimes argued, but always with mutual respect. One mission, deep within an uncharted system, their ship was ambushed by mercenaries. The attack was unexpected, violent, and precise. Leora reacted instantly, guiding the crew and neutralizing threats before they could cause significant damage. Ward coordinated evasive maneuvers while using the ship's systems to outmaneuver their attackers. When the battle ended, Ward leaned back, exhausted but alive. Leora, though also tired, stood tall, her eyes glinting with satisfaction. "I underestimated your kind at first," she admitted, her voice carrying a rare vulnerability. "You are remarkable." Ward chuckled softly, rubbing the bridge of his nose. "I think we underestimated each other, but I am glad we did not. I would not trade this our partnership for anything." The bond between them continued to grow, a blend of mutual respect, friendship, and unspoken trust. Ward understood that Leora's presence was no longer just a part of the spoils. She was a partner, an ally, and perhaps something even more profound. Leora, for her part, recognized in Ward a rare human quality, resilience tempered by empathy, strength tempered by wisdom. Years passed. Their victories became legends, the stories of a human and an alien girl who fought side by side, spreading across colonies and systems. Ward never sought recognition. Leora never sought control. Together, they embodied a new kind of alliance, one born not of conquest, but of shared purpose, trust, and understanding. On the anniversary of the division of spoils, Ward and Leora stood once again on the observation deck of a distant station, looking out at the stars that had become their home. The galaxy was vast, unpredictable, and often cruel, but together they had carved a place where both human and alien could thrive. "You are no longer a prize," Ward said quietly, his gaze meeting hers. "You are a partner, a friend, and more." Leora's smile was radiant, not just from the glow of the stars, but from the bond they had forged. "And you, human, are no longer just a soldier. You are someone who understands me, and perhaps even yourself better than anyone else could." They stood side by side, aware of the trials behind,